Good morning, Pantsers. It's Tuesday. It's week 1 of year 16. It is also the week following Project for Awesome. And as you might be able to tell, I am quite tired. I am still in recovery mode. And I mean, things went great. We raised so much money, and I'm so proud of us. We raised $4 million. Like, that's a lot of money. It's funny, I keep thinking about, like, the first year that we actually raised funds, because, originally Project for Awesome didn't actually raise any money. And the first year that we actually raised money, I think we raised about $100,000, and like we were so like over the moon that we had raised so much money. Like we were so excited about it, and that was the year that we did the big YouTube extravaganza, like with actual YouTube. Like we did some sort of like a collab thing with the actual YouTube company. And it was like a whole big weird thing. It was very strange. It was a strange year. So it's really funny to me that we've come so far. And now we're just like casually raising $4 million in a weekend by ourselves without any company backing, I mean, never underestimate Nerfiteria, I guess. Anyway, it's very exciting. We had a fun weekend. Things went pretty well. I'm very tired. I'm having a hard time, being super coherent. I keep falling asleep at weird times. But other than that, it's okay. Like, it was a good weekend. We did a lot. It was fun. We did good. That's what matters the most. Yeah. It was good. It was a good Project for Awesome. I am still knitting, as you can see, although I am not knitting the ribbing anymore. I have achieved what I was trying to achieve there. I am now trying to replicate my original stockinette gauge swatch, because as we discovered the first go round with the ribbing gauge swatch, apparently I was not at my peak while I was doing that, and I, clearly did something weird with the ribbing gauge swatch, so I'm not certain, that I didn't do something weird with the stockinette gauge swatch, so we're trying to redo that and see what set of needles I need to be using for the stockinette. I'm also, using this opportunity because, let me see, how is a concise way to explain this? I'm not sure if everybody has any sort of knitting knowledge here, so I will try to be okay, stockinette means, it's like the most basic, kind of knitting, where it's all knit stitch on one side, purl stitch on the other side. Knit stitch and purl stitch are the same stitch, except facing the other direction. So what looks like a knit stitch on the front looks like a purl stitch on the back, and vice versa. So stockinette is all knit stitches on one side, all purl stitches on the other side. So if you're knitting in the round and you're doing stockinette, you just knit every single stitch. But if you're knitting flat, where you go back and forth, then you have to knit a row and then purl a row, and then knit a row and then purl a row. And purling is very hard on my hands. Like if I have to purl like a whole row, like that's really really hard on my hands. If I'm just doing like a couple stitches at a time, like for ribbing, that's fine. That doesn't bother my hands at all. But like if I have to like knit or if I have to purl a lot, it's bad. So I have taught myself, in order to do stockinette flat, I have taught myself to knit backwards when I'm going what would normally be a purl row. So like I knit this direction, and then instead of turning the work and purling, I don't turn the work. I leave it the same direction it was to begin with, and then I just knit going the other direction. And the way that I have done this to make it like easier for myself to like keep track of what I'm doing is that like normally when I'm knitting, hang on a second, let me get this situated. So like normally when I'm knitting, I would be holding the yarn in my left hand and going this direction. When I'm knitting the other direction, I switch it over to my right hand so I can tell immediately what I'm supposed to be doing, because sometimes like, you know, you sort of like zone out while you're knitting, and then you like look at what you're doing and go, what is happening? Where am I? I have not been paying attention for the past 15 minutes. So it's really easy if I just like keep my yarn in the other hand and do it. The problem is that the way that I got used to doing this is a little bit clunky when I'm going this direction, which is like the purl direction, the backwards direction. It's a little bit clunky and slow. And so I'm trying to change the way that I hold the yarn while I'm trying to think of a way to describe this that is not going to like require you to have any knitting knowledge. Anyway, the way that I'm trying to change the way that I'm holding things and the way that I'm like moving my hands while I'm doing it, basically. And it's working, but it's kind of slow. I'm having to sort of like get used to doing it that way. But since I'm like going to be knitting this whole cardigan flat, and the entire like top section of it is all in stockinette, like everything from about the waist up is all in stockinette, sleeves and everything. So I'm going to be getting a lot of practice at it. So that is what I am trying to do here while I'm like re-knitting this gauge swatch and everything. I'm like trying to get into the habit of like holding it in the new way. And it's working, but it's slow. It still is a little bit like awkward. But once I have mastered it, it should be much faster and much simpler and much easier. I just have to kind of get used to doing it that way. So that's what I'm doing there. Fascinating. I'm sure this is very exciting for you watching this. I'm sorry. Anyway, so I'm so tired, you guys. I'm so tired. Okay. I'm gonna go. I've been talking for like 9 minutes, and like no one cares about this except me. I'm also like at a kind of a weird angle because Min is sitting like right here, and I can't scoot forward. So that's why I'm like holding everything at kind of a strange angle and sitting in kind of a weird U shape. Okay. Happy week 1. Happy year 16. I love you all very much. I hope you're having a good week. I will see you next week. I think that's it. Don't forget to be awesome.